This is the intake. I had to pop the hood. It runs all along down this vehicle. And when I turn on the air conditioning and get the fan going, you can actually hear the air sucking into it. Switched over to the face and feet settings so that it runs through the ducts throughout the vehicle. And then I'll also switch to, I'm going to do it all along in the different spots on this vent. You can see in there that it's just kind of foaming up.
When was the last time you looked inside your AC vents? Most drivers never do, and that's a big reason many pay for expensive repairs they don't actually need. Today, I'll prove how a $10 foam cleaner and a shop vac can completely change the way your AC feels and smells. We'll go from pulling out shocking debris to blasting clean, refreshing air in under 20 minutes. By the end of this, you'll never ignore your car's ductwork again. Before we move on, I will like you to subscribe to the channel and like the video. What if the real reason your AC feels weak has nothing to do with a failing compressor or low refrigerant at all, but something free that's blocking the cold air from even reaching you? A thin, grimy layer sitting right inside the vents. It sounds too simple, but that layer can shrink airflow so much it mirrors the symptoms of a serious mechanical fault. And the worst part is, you're far more likely to pay for the expensive repair first before anyone checks the easy fix. Think about the usual chain of events. You're driving on a hot day, you crank the dial to max cold, but the air coming out barely moves and feels warm within minutes. The first thought is, something major just broke. You head straight to the shop prepared for a bill in the hundreds. Or worse. Mechanics know this scenario all too well, and for many, it's bread and butter. Here's the thing few people realize. AC vents can hide a blockage that fools you and your mechanic into thinking parts deep in the system have failed. A blockage only a few millimeters thick can be enough to restrict air, creating that sluggish breeze you notice. Refrigerant levels can be fine. The compressor can be running perfectly, yet the cabin still doesn't cool like it should. One shop I visited told me about a case they still laugh about. A customer insisted their AC was dying and braced for a $600 repair quote. After a quick inspection, they found the actual culprit, a dead lizard wedged inside a duct just behind the passenger side vent. It had been there long enough to dry out and collect dust, which almost sealed that air channel shut. If they hadn't pulled the vent grill to look, the customer would have signed off on needless work. While the lizard case is rare, the everyday culprits are much less dramatic but just as effective at choking airflow. Over time, vents draw in dust from the cabin, lint from the dashboard, crumbs, loose hair, even pollen. A lot of it sticks because of condensation forming whenever cold air passes through. You don't see it unless you shine a light inside, but it's there, and it gets thicker month after month. I've tested this myself. Before cleaning, you could feel only a modest stream of air on your hand, even with the fan maxed. After a quick vacuum using a shop vac with a narrow brush attachment, the stream was forceful enough to hear the change in pitch from the fan blades. Watching the collection of fluff, grit, and hair spin around inside the vacuum bin really drives home how much was in there. Research on HVAC efficiency backs this up. Even a light layer of dust coating interior channels can slow airflow by measurable amounts. That lower flow means the AC has to stay on longer to cool the cabin. Over time, that extra strain adds wear to the blower motor and edges up your fuel consumption if you're in a gas-powered car. Here's the fast part. You can do this in 5 to 10 minutes once you have a vacuum and the right attachment. In many cases, cooling feels stronger immediately, especially if the debris was visibly packed near the vent openings. It's a zero-cost fix if you already have the tools, and it's almost always worth trying before handing over money for diagnostics. But here's where it gets interesting. Even if you pull out that first layer, a lot of the deeper buildup stays put, clinging to the walls of the ducts and right on the evaporator fins, far beyond what a vacuum can reach. That layer can be sticky, organic, and much harder to remove, and surprisingly, even some professional services skip that step altogether. What's living inside the parts of your AC system you can't see? Beyond the vent openings and behind the dash, the ducts and the evaporator area can collect a mix of sticky dust, mold, and mildew. Unlike loose debris near the front of the vents, this buildup sticks to every surface it touches. It can stay there for years, even if you vacuum the openings regularly, because airflow never knocks it loose. The problem isn't just that it makes the air work harder to get through. Those contaminants can also change the way your cabin smells. If you've ever switched on the AC and noticed a musty odor that lingers for minutes, that's almost always microbial growth inside the system. The evaporator core is a major hotspot for this. It's damp for long periods whenever you run the AC, giving mold and bacteria an ideal surface to hold onto. Over time, the layer thickens, narrowing the passages for air and acting like a sponge that holds odors. Vacuuming can't touch these deeper areas, which is why a lot of mechanics offer AC cleaning services that cost far more than they should. But the same job can be done with an AC vent foam cleaner. A product like the Interdemix Cleaner, priced around $9 to $10, uses a straw applicator to push expanding foam into the vents. That foam carries cleaning agents designed to dissolve and loosen the grime stuck to duct walls and evaporator fins. The process is straightforward if you follow the steps. First, turn off the car and insert the straw into one vent, pushing it in far enough to get past the grill. Shake the can, press the trigger, and let the foam fill the cavity. You'll hear it travel deeper as it expands. Move to each vent in turn, repeating the process until all of them have been treated. Once you've done that, let the foam sit for 10 to 15 minutes. This gives the chemicals time to break down mold colonies, release dust from surfaces, and free up the pathways where airflow is restricted. As the foam expands, it also pushes gently into corners and around bends in the ductwork. This physical movement helps lift grime away from where it's been clinging. In places like the evaporator core, the foam wraps around the fins, breaking the bonds between the metal and any buildup that's been soaking in condensation. After the wait time, turn the fan on high with the AC switched off. This lets the blower push the foam and everything it loosened out through the vents. You may see liquid drain from under the car as the cleaner exits the system the same way condensation normally does. This is normal, and the stronger airflow you'll feel immediately after is a sign the passages are cleared. In a test on a compact sedan, vent air measured at just under 58 degrees before cleaning, with a low setting on an airflow meter. After the foam treatment, temperature dropped to 52 degrees, and the airflow reading jumped several points. A clear change for less than the cost of a casual lunch. The musty odor noticeable before treatment was also gone. For under $10 and about 20 minutes of your time, you can restore cool, clean air and remove odors without touching a wrench or paying a shop rate. Now you have two simple methods: vacuuming for surface debris and foam to handle the deeper grime that take away one of the most common reasons drivers end up with unnecessary AC repair quotes. Most weak AC issues start with something simple: dust and debris choking the vents, not a failing part. That means you could be saving hundreds by cleaning instead of replacing. Mechanics might charge $500 for repairs you could fix for around $10 at home. Before you book an appointment, grab a vacuum or foam cleaner and check your vents. The difference in airflow and cooling can be instant. If you do it, share your results so others know it works. And if you still have cooling problems after cleaning, watch for my upcoming tip on spotting a bad AC pressure switch.